Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Entrepreneur Town Hall Africa series with Strive Masi Yua. The moment is finally here. The man is in the building, and once again, apologies for the late start, but we are ready to begin now, and I'm as excited, perhaps even more excited than you. I don't know. It'll depend on the vibe you guys give to him and the rousing welcome we're expecting from all of you. Let's meet some of our guests and our dignitaries here this afternoon, and then the show will be underway. Let's acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Efwa Asabia Asare. She is in the Ministry of Business Development. Let's give her a big round of applause. We also have here Mr. David Ashong. He's the board chairman of Ashong and Benjamin. Let's also give him a rousing round of applause. Let's welcome Mr. Ben Amadoson, head of Kwese TV, Kwese Free TV. Let's give him a big round of applause. Nanda Scott, good afternoon to you. She's the executive vice president, HR, Econet Media. Can we have a wave? We also have Mr. Rees Torrington, commercial director, Econet Media. Good afternoon, sir. Can we also say hi to Mr. Maxwell Dodd, country manager of Econet Media. Last but not least, Mr. Richmond Abekase, general manager of Kwese Free Sports. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to roll, and to give Mr. Masi Yua a rousing Ghanaian welcome, let us welcome Nana Asase. Nana, are you there?
You should just... Have they got it? Hello? Hello? It's all part of it. Let them start. I'm coming out of it. Yeah, I'm coming out of it. When a woman is in labor, she does not rejoice. But after she has delivered, then she calls for celebration. Hello, Africa. I am the writer king who sips communion wine from the calabash. I did not come to pour libation. A man can only be as true as his mother tongue. Timpani say, Oba obecheno yamuni sumai. A child who will live long needs no charm. When we gather like this, it's because there's something very important to be discussed. Inti asema hu hia eni esi hu konya sei biesu wo bedwam ni edi hu abobo. Sebe se wuhia onipa yebu ni din de to fapempon a ye biesu tim ne so frɛ no mama. O mama hu hi na na asase sei nanso ne techere medu akiri. The struggles of man begin at birth. We struggle to crawl, and then we stand, and then we strive to walk. When your legs shake, you stumble and fall. You continue moving on. So when I was a little man, growing up was a dream. I am here now, moving on. I call it harsh reality. And so I came to realize that helper is rare. Helper is the man who has his last morsel, breaks it in four and gives you one, so that life continues all around the globe. Welcome to the crossroads of dreams. Welcome to this market of 9 moons, the center where it all began. Welcome to the center of the world. Welcome to the land of the greatest African. Welcome to the place where the Creator himself descends in the cool of the evening to enjoy the breeze. We have gathered because we strive to hit the peaks. And so from the gentle lakes of Tanganyika, right on the backs of the funerary lions of Makta, scaling the Kilimanjaro. Tell me, his name is on the songs of the Musiwatunya. Strive Masiyiwa, you are tasty on the tongue of Africa. Ago. You call him Strive Masiyiwa. Enyame nwanwa oyiwa share ushia onipa wesi ne bo ye nyina ye frɛ yie na yie ba ye hwehwɛ menesono ne sɛn menesono ɛna ɔpɛ ne ho asɛm kɔbɔ ɔtwe ne frɛ kɔkɔ nimdie mu ɛbɛka nimdie mu asɛm menesono ya penko ye nimu ye frɛ menesono ye bɔkɔ ye chia ye frɛ menesono ɛna waku aboaso ne di afemfam aboaso no aka ne widie mu no kra ye frɛ no greatwa mansa. When a man is great, he's not counted in his houses, in his cars, in his wealth. He is counted by the lives that he has touched. Now, if you would like to talk about money, let's talk about the economy, but catch money short and let's create a net. Let's have an eco-net which can bring in a lot of money. Now, eco-net brings in a lot of money to feed this economy, many other economies of Africa, but these economies are dependent on by so many little lives in Africa. So let us hang this net, the wealth of Africa, and let every single man in a wireless net catch a little bit of his. EcoNet Wireless is so beautiful. And in this beautiful medium, your medium, my medium, this media is so beautiful that we can share wealth of knowledge. If we say, Yensu fam presika yesu de pre nimdie agu fiha ebia wate se ma campaign mesanyaka firi se huhia ushia onipa onye pese menkuminya na emu oye pese yenyina yedia unta enye didija edidija meni han meni bre na emu Yunya kitu bi obema no onu nya kese a obekai kai wo bebo din a unimini a unsadem a unkudin yawo wanye pese menkuminya wakuhia wabre asam na nimu fifiri nanso hwe wo se wadwane afifie we free afa free ye kofa bai wo ye ejano so tipompa ye do fa dwen kese ye sane no bedwam strive Masiyiwa, I say again that you are tasty on the tongue of Africa. Ago fiha. Enti wo ne me etifi anafo epoye ni atoye. Ye nyina ye mum ni mfiri ye. She Ye free ye na ye bank ye je nyankunton e de bon konson de kotetiri ohia. Ye mian eswan ye metri so koto ne 2 pon a. Anka bibrebe ye o. Unya ye na wantena so anya mpese minkuminya. Anka bibrebe ye o. Enti efrine, change your attitude. Change the way you look at me. I think you should show me just a little bit more respect. Let me show you a little bit more compassion. And let this beautiful light Kwese through Africa. And then we will be everywhere. From this crossroads of dreams, from this market of 9 moons, from this place where the earth and sea and sky meet to share gossip, where Mother Earth prepares the food and distributes to the rest of the world. I am the writer king who sips communion wine from the calabash. Of Remina Nasasi, Omama Kweje Biwafasi, She, Asempa Yitia, Nauko, near Butu no Kwaria, Utani, Mama saying, Minia, Butunian Shadi is here. Hello, Africa. Agu. And so, in the unity of our uniquenesses and differences, we strive to make great impact. With you to look, appreciate, applaud, commend when you could, we strive to be the very best. There's no place like Africa. There's no place like home. I am the writer king who sips communion wine from the calabash. That is Patrick. When you meet him, give him a pat for these beautiful tricks he does with his fingers. This is my brother Hash Muller on the strings. We just strove to keep up 10 minutes on this stage. I strove to sweat a little. At least you managed to clap. Strive, Masiyiwa. Welcome to the crossroads of dreams. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was awesome. We can do better than that. Well done. Well done. Wow. That is awesome. That is amazing. That is Strive Masibia. And there he is. Nana Asase getting a thank you from Strive himself. Thank you very much, Kofi as well, and Patrick Dodu, the painter. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to meet Mr. Strive Masibia. But before we do that, can we have a little exercise? I know some of you have been here for long. I met Tosin and I met Austin very early on. Can we all just stand up for a few seconds? Just stand up. Just a few, very, very, very few seconds. Okay. Good. Please look at the person next to you and say, I'm here to be motivated. I'm here to be inspired.
And you will be inspired.
I'm here to be blessed.
And you'll be blessed today.
I'm alive. Let's welcome Strive. Ladies and gentlemen, take your seats.
Hey.
And before he comes up, Mr. Maxwell Dodd, I'll be very grateful for you to come and introduce the great man, the legend, Mr. Strive Masibia. Let's give Mr. Maxwell Dodd a big round of applause.
Thank you very much. Welcome to Ghana.
Thank you.
Growing up as a Ghanaian child, my father told me something. He said, son, if you want to be great, look for people sitting where you want to be and listen to them. So today, that's what we are here to do, to listen to a great man so we could be great. Welcome, Strive. 2014 and 2017, the Forbes magazine listed the 50 greatest leaders of our time, and on that list was Strive Masibia. He is the founder and executive chairman of the Econet Group, spanning across 15 countries. It's really a challenge to even do a multinational one multinational, but this man has built over 6 multinationals across 15 countries. Across telecoms, media, and with investment in other industries. He has, for the past years, dedicated his time towards developing African youth, especially those who want to be entrepreneurs. He has a following of over 2.5 million on Facebook, all eager young men engaging him. I'm sure when we launched Kwese in Ghana, I was there in my office one day. I got a young man looking for me. He comes in and said, "Oh, I've been following Strive for a long time, and I hear now he has a company in Ghana." That's how well known the brand is in our part of the world. He's influencing his generation, and today he's here to share with us, by the fireside, a few of the great things that has led him to where he is. Together, let's welcome Mr. M, as we popularly call him, to Ghana, formally, and we say, "You are welcome, sir."
Thank you very much, Mr. Maxwell Dodd. Mr. M is seated, and I've been joined by the lovely Kwese Salome Hansen. Let's give her a big round of applause. Kwese will be taking us through by the fireside, and I'm sure you'll be lucky to get your question across. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to ignite the afternoon. Once again, let's give Mr. Strive, Mr. M, a big round of applause.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, no. We need more enthusiasm than that. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. My name is Kwese Salome Hansen. It is indeed an honor to be here to steer affairs this afternoon with a man who exemplifies African excellence. I'm not going to talk too much because this session is about you. It's about interacting with Strive this afternoon, asking him your questions about entrepreneurship and zeroing in on some of the issues that young entrepreneurs face in doing business on this beautiful continent of ours. So once again, Strive, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. And we'll keep this discussion on set very, very short so that we can open up the discussion to you. Now remember, we're streaming live on Facebook, on Strive's Facebook page, so you can watch along and send in your questions and comments on that platform. We're also live on Kwese Free Sports, so for those of you watching at home, you're not left out. You can also join in the discussion. We want to hear from you. For those of you who are here with us live in the audience, we will be taking your questions as well. You'll be able to ask whatever question you want to, and this is a rare opportunity. Please make good use of it. We're going to have a great time interacting with Strive this afternoon. So let's get the ball rolling, and then we'll pass it on to you. So, Strive, like I said, we'll keep it very brief so that we can have the true Q&A session. But one of the things we know about you is how you grew your empire. And we've heard that you started your first business with something equivalent to $75, which in Ghana is about just over 300 cedis in this day and age. So for somebody who's a young entrepreneur listening to you now, what would you advise them to do? If they had that exact same amount of money today, what would you advise them to invest it in? And what exactly did you do with your $75?
Well, first of all, great to be back in Ghana. I love coming here. Wonderful heart of Africa. Well, you first of all would have to inflate my $75 because that was back in '86.
Okay.
It was a lot more money in those days. So you gotta build in some inflation. But you know, as an entrepreneur, you must use what is in your hand. That's the most important principle. Whatever you've got, you use. You know, I tell the story of Moses in the Bible, and God says to Moses, "What's in your hand?" And he didn't say nothing. He said, "I have a rod." And God says, "Okay, it's enough." And with that, he changed and created a nation. So whether or not you believe in that from a spiritual perspective or not, there's a principle in life. you use what's in your hand. Okay? It's enough. It's enough to get you started. The rest is going to be your passion, your innovation, and your humility. Okay? When I started thinking about setting my own business, I was blessed in that I had a professional engineering degree at a time when, we're few. I had everything I needed in terms, I had a good job and so forth. But I had made up my mind I wanted to start something of my own. But I didn't have a lot of money. I called some friends. I said, hey, let's start a business. We're about 4 of us. My contribution was $75 into a pot, which we thought we were going to invest along together. But actually, my colleagues didn't really pitch up that much. That creates another principle. Don't make your own progress condition on others. Okay? If you want to drive from here to Kumasi today, don't go and say, if you come with me, I'll go to Kumasi. You'll never go. Okay? But if you say, I'm going to Kumasi, if you want to come, you can come with me. It's a different proposition. You've made up your mind to go, so you go. I had made up my mind to start a business. Can you still hear me? Because my mic, is it still there? Who can hear me?
Can we hear?
Can you hear me? Once, it needed a lot of humility on my part, because I needed to, I feel like you can't hear me. Can you hear me? Put up your hand if you can hear me. So you can hear me. Thank you. You know, I couldn't go out and
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's use this as a backup.
Hello, can you hear me? That's better. I couldn't go out and say I want to put up a high-rise office block or tender for anything. So I put up little adverts in newspapers in the smalls and said, I can fix anything. I can fix your gate. I can fix your curtains. I can do jobbing. It was called jobbing. So people would call, and I actually asked my mother if I could use her phone. So people would call at the house and say, my curtain, my electricity isn't working, or my curtain, and I dashed out to fix it for them. None of those people knew that I had a university degree from the UK. I would go to the labor exchange where there were laborers, and I would say, I am looking for a plumber because I have a job to do a plumber. Sometimes it was a disaster because some of the guys turned out not to be plumbers. They couldn't do the job, which put me in a lot of trouble. But another principle, which is, make sure that you're choosing the right people to do jobs. What was important was if I did a job, I never ever spent the money. I used it for the next job. Okay? Sometimes I would just go to the person I was doing something for and say, listen, I can fix this, but I have no money to buy the fittings for you. If you buy the fittings, I'll fit it for you, and this is what I'll charge for the job, for my labor. Okay? But do that for a couple of months, and before long, I had 5, 10 people working for me full time. Okay? I had persuaded 1 or 2 friends to join me, and we were in business. A year later, hey, I was calling myself a businessman. Why not?
So you have this electrical engineering degree, and you become sort of a jack of all trades.
Yeah, I was called a jobber.
The jobber. I like that. But, in our part of the world, a lot of people believe that when you have a degree like yours, you've got to work in that line, and perhaps there's more prestige associated with having that title of a degree and working in a field like electrical engineering. I mean, in our African context, that's quite a big deal.
Sure. And this is what I tell you. If you're a university graduate in mechanical engineering, go start a plumbing company, for God's sake. You got to stoop to conquer. I knew where I was going. That's sufficient. When you know where you want to get to, I knew it was always going to be temporary. That I'd become bigger and greater. I think many of you know the story. I finally managed to get myself a fairly large contract. Okay, I guess it was probably, I don't know, maybe the equivalent of $2,000 today. It was exciting, I had a contract to do some renovations for somebody. But I didn't have the capital to do the job. I'd accepted to do it. So I went to the bank, where I had been deposited, anything I did, I deposited at the bank. So I went there, and I remember it was the bank manager was a woman. They're the best. And she met me, and I said to her, listen, I need a loan. And she said, that sports car, that nice little Golf that I saw park outside, is that yours? I said, yes, it's mine. She said, I'll tell you what, you go sell that car. Buy yourself a pickup truck, a little pickup truck. Come back and I'll give you the equivalent of what you get for your car for your business.
Again, she reminded you of what you already had.
Yes, she reminded me of what I had. And she was also reminding me about values. I was never to buy a car again for years, for myself. I even had what my staff knew as Masiwa's law. I never, even to this day, bought a Mercedes-Benz. Hated them. Sorry, Mercedes, but it was the symbol of something that I objected to. Okay, so I didn't go out and buy myself a fancy car. I didn't build a house. I rented for years until one day my mother rebuked me. She said, you have kids and you rent. I said, it's all in my business. So, I knew she would come back, so I built a house, okay? But my focus was always put the money in the business. Because that's how you grow.
That is how you grow, and you grew from being a jobber to being an entrepreneurial genius in Africa. We see a lot of times entrepreneurs start out, grow to the SME status, and then beyond that, it's a bit stagnant. We don't often see our companies grow beyond our borders here in Ghana, sometimes not even beyond a particular region. For those who are struggling to grow their companies beyond that SME size, what advice do you have for them in overcoming those challenges? And do you even think that every company needs to grow to become a multinational?
Yes, there's a lot of questions in there. Well, one of the things that let me tell you one of the things that happened to me. I had a partner who was also an engineer like I was, but he came from a different discipline. We were two young guys working together, but I was the boss, and he agreed. But we would do almost anything in the engineering field.
Okay.
And then one day we had, somebody asked me if I ever had failures. Let me tell you one. So there was this guy who was renovating a block of flats. And he gave us the work. I mean, this was like winning the lottery. He was a white Zimbabwean guy. And he says, I've never given a black contractor work. I'd like to give you guys this job. I've swallowed my pride. I didn't say a word. Got this job. And we worked hard on this thing. And then when it came to the time of the inspection of the work so he could pay us, went round the block of flats, went round inspecting everything working. And then we went at one of the bathrooms. He says, how do I know the toilet is working? I said, it's working. He said, why don't you flush it? He had clearly tried. So I walked into the room. So I flushed this toilet, and the water came up and covered me. I was wet. The water just came out of this toilet. I had a crisis. I was trying to shut down the water. He says, "So, you think I should pay you?" So afterwards, I started my diagnosis. Why did this thing happen? Of course, we found that the guy we had hired as a plumber was not a plumber. So when I went to the supplier and I told them that the type of fitting he had put, they said, "What? You hired a plumber who put a pipe that size?" I was so embarrassed. So I called my partner. I said, from today, any job we do is an electrical job, okay? Because that would not happen if it had been an electrical job, because I'm an expert there. So I'm not going to take chances anymore. Do you know we actually split up? Because he said, no, we make money doing all these other things. We used to do pavements, for instance, in high-income suburbs. I said, okay, you take all that part of the business, okay? So we split the business in two, and I took what looked like a non-entity part of the business, and I put up on the door, electrical contractor only, with an only underlined. Another principle, which I've never deviated from. I focus on things that I know. Okay? And what then happened was I quickly grew. In fact, most of the work that I began to do, people came to me because they would say, "Go to the engineer." Because a lot of the companies weren't run by engineers, they were run by electricians. And I was known to be the guy who would deal with the most complicated issues. And that's what I focused on. And the more specialized I was, the higher my profit margins. Because I was always checking my margins, because I always watch my numbers. You see how it works? So I could rapidly grow. But the other thing that I began to do was, of course, I focused on recruiting specialists. Okay? And I couldn't afford them. So I would do anything I remember one guy worked, one of my competitors, big company, but I knew that was the linchpin in that company. So I went to him, I said, "Listen, I'll give you a car, nice car, I'll give you this." And so he says, "Which car?" I said, "Well," I gave him the keys. I said, "That's yours, you can keep it if you take this job. And I'll give you some shares." Okay. These are the guys who would then go on to grow the business. And you know what? Many of the people that started with me are still with me. I have people, oh yes, I have people in our organization that are 30 years. I have people that were in the room with me when we were 10 people. Today we are 10,000.
I'm so tempted to keep asking about this, but I'll give the opportunity to the audience to do that. But before we go to them, I'll skip ahead to your latest baby, Kwese, and one particular aspect of Kwese. I know we're going to have a lot of questions about Kwese, but Kwese Inc., since we're doing entrepreneurship today, we know that this is a channel that is focused on entrepreneurship. Why? Why did you decide to put that focus so heavily on a channel dedicated to entrepreneurship on Kwese?
You know, Kwese Inc. is the only channel that I was involved with.
Out of over 70 channels?
Yeah, the only one. So, the team developing the Kwese project See, one of the things I do is I defer to people for their expertise. I hire people, I bring them on board, okay, and I let them do their job.
Oh, can I interject? How can you trust that they will fulfill your vision?
Because we have systems in place that allow us to have that interaction about where we're going and how things are being executed, the report system and all that. I get it. They get it through. But I don't like to issue instructions, for example, not to professionals. I like to give my suggestions.
Okay.
Maybe you should consider this. So I said to the team, I said, you know, is it not possible for you to get programming from around the world for entrepreneurs? Something that extends my Facebook reach. Because there are certain things I want to teach, but I can't teach in 10 paragraphs. I said, so go out and buy programming, because when I'm in the US, I have kids in the US, so when I visit them and I sit and watch TV, my favorite program is Shark Tank. I love Shark Tank. Has anybody seen Shark Tank?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Shark Tank. I love the panel and the way the entrepreneurs interact. And I also have another favorite, which I actually prefer to Shark Tank. Has anybody ever seen The Prophet? Yeah, I love that program. So I said, why don't you get a hold of NBC, who produced Shark Tank, and see if we can buy it. We paid a lot of money for it, a couple of $1 million for Shark Tank. And I said, go and find programming like this. And let's have a 24-hour channel. I said, they said they went away, as they normally do, and they came back and they said, we have a presentation to make to you. This is Kwese Inc. Yeah, it was a great presentation. So really, for me, I love, that was the only program, channel, because I have no expertise in channels, okay? The team have developed our in-house channels. They are 20-year-plus veterans in this industry. I can't teach them anything. But I urged them along, and they brought something to me which was really, I thought, innovative. What I obviously want to do is to begin to develop African equivalents of those shows. So we are already developing our own an African equivalent of Shark Tank, which will invite African entrepreneurs that you know, and maybe we will have typical shows around Africa so that you can make pitches for money, real money. So it's only the beginning. But I personally feel that if you're a serious entrepreneur, if you get Kwese for nothing else, get it for Kwese Inc.
Get it for
because there's something there for you that I'm trying to push across. So we have a lot of programs. The Apprentice, not the Trump one, The Apprentice. Because that's political now, right? But we have the British equivalent of The Apprentice and the Dragon's Den and what have you, because these are real live issues. How do you walk in front of a potential financier, investor, to get money?
Would you ever consider being the focus of an apprentice-type show?
No, because of what Trump did with it. It became political. So if I did it, everybody thinks I want to run for president. I mean,
Okay, all right. We're going to open up the floor now for you to ask questions. Otherwise, we'll do this all day. But for those of you who would like to ask a question, we're going to ask you to come to the center of the floor. You see some microphones strategically placed there, and then you can come up and ask your question. For those of you who are watching at home, you can use the hashtag Afripreneur. That's the official hashtag for this town hall series, Afripreneur. Use that hashtag, send your questions in, and we'll read them out, and hopefully Strive will answer them for you. So again, I'm sure Yao is placing himself somewhere to get people who want to ask questions, and you can raise your hand if you're ready. Okay, all right, so I see some hands up, and Yao, can you wave so that we can see where you are? I've lost it. Okay, there he is. So he's gonna move around on the floor and identify people who are ready to ask questions to Strive, and then we'll pick up our social media questions as well as they come in. Remember, the hashtag is Afripreneur. We're also streaming live on Strive's Facebook page, and we're airing on Kwese Free Sports right here. So, okay, I can see a few people lining up to get their questions out. Please, a few ground rules. Please, no follow-ups. Try to keep your questions to about 1 minute maximum so that more people can have an opportunity to ask. And we're focusing on entrepreneurship and youth entrepreneurship especially. Okay, are we ready for the first question? Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Hello, sir. My name is Ivy Bale, and I'm your diehard follower. I'm really inspired by everything you're doing. My question is that you once stated that when you start a business, you don't take more than 25% equity, and you don't take that until after the 4th year of consecutive profits. Can you please give us more insights about that? Thank you.
Okay.
Are you going to help me by writing
By
down?
taking the questions down, yes.
Yeah,
Now we're in the digital age, so I'm going to type.
Where's Dalamuzi? He usually helps me with this. Did anybody give space for Dalamuzi?
I'm going to be doing
Where
that.
is he? Dalamuzi, come on. Let's get the show off the road.
Okay.
Write down a few of these, because sometimes I want to take a few questions. And I didn't quite hear what she was saying. What was she saying?
She asked about you taking 25% equity in your businesses and only taking out any profit after 4 years of operating. And she wanted you to expound upon that.
That's correct. Okay, let me explain to you. It's a principle.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. If you want to grow your business, here's a very interesting principle for you, and I've written about it on Facebook. And I apply it from a biblical perspective, but you don't have to think of it biblically. If you spend, when you start your business, don't pay yourself a dividend for at least 3 or 4 years. Okay, don't take any of the profits for yourself for at least 3 or 4 years, no matter how profitable it is. Of course, if it never gets profitable, you don't deserve any dividend, okay? Now, I also taught you another important principle, which is, I remember when I started in my business with my partners, and I remember one day I said to my friend, I'm CEO. He said, but I thought we were co-CEO. I said, no, I'm CEO. You are COO.
There's a difference.
We are very good friends. We'd been to university together, okay? So we're good friends. I said, you see, he was more technically precise than me. He had certain skills that I didn't have. He had fantastic man management skills, particularly when it came to the staff. I said, okay, so I said, he agreed. I said, okay, so here's a piece of paper I want you to sign. He said, what is it? I said, that's your contract. That's how much you get. He says, I made more money than this when we worked. I said, yeah, now we're entrepreneurs. We're not here because you're supposed to make lots of money. We're here to build a business. So that's your salary. And that's my salary, and we are the same. And then I brought the bookkeeper in. And we couldn't afford a bookkeeper, so we had a friend who did it part-time. I said, okay, so you pay us that money. So we had a salary. Every entrepreneur must have a salary. You must have the discipline to have a salary. Okay? Don't have the situation where, somebody comes and says, there's a nice house next door. It's available. And, you can have it. If you buy that house before your business is big enough, you are no longer an entrepreneur. That is the difference between being big and small. That's all. It's a discipline. Okay? I know it's hard, but I'm not running for an election, right? I'm here to help you build up. I'm here to talk to entrepreneurs. I'm not a politician. I want you to run big businesses that will transform this nation and the continent of Africa. Okay? And that's why I started this series. Okay? These are the secrets that we don't tell you. You've got to make the sacrifice. Okay? So you've got to have a salary. So when you have your salary, okay, so the business is making profits. I remember fight with my uncle looking for some money. He says, but you have lots of money. I said, no. The business has lots of money. Me, I have nothing. He said, but it's your business. I said, no, you misunderstand. I have a partner. And I have a bank as well. Because the moment you begin to take on partners and banks, it's not yours. Econ is not mine. I have shareholders, minority shareholders. Even if one person has shares, I can't take the money. You understand the principle? So we build. Jeff Bezos today. Who's heard of Amazon? You all know Amazon, right? When did I make the prediction that Jeff Bezos will become the richest man in the world? At least 10 years ago. He will take over from Bill Gates this year to become the world's richest man. But Amazon has yet to pay shareholders a dividend.
Wow.
Go check how long it took Microsoft before they paid a dividend, or Apple before they paid a dividend. People forgot that. We just gave up. They said, well, look, Apple pay dividends? You're crazy. But today, they could swamp you with their dividends. Okay, so you have, dividends must come from your profits and your cash. It's not just your profit on paper, but your cash. And they must come at a time when the business says, you know what, I have so much money. Because the business must talk to you as a separate entity from you. It must have a different persona. Okay? And these are principles, but they are the principles that built the Coca-Colas and the McDonald's of this world. And you must discipline to get there. But of course, if you just want to have a good life, you can do that with a relatively small business. In fact, the way to have a good life is not have any partners, anything, you just go into the till, you take the money, you show your friends what you want to do. It's great. But we're talking about big businesses. Okay, because my entrepreneurship series is about creating Africa's Alibabas, McDonald's, Apples. Okay? The people that took time off today to come here fall into that category. That's what they want to learn from me. So I must give you some tough love. Okay? You must be disciplined about it. Sorry about that, long-winded. Sorry to keep you in your queue. Let's move it
Let's move on. Okay, so right before we take the next few questions, I'm going to read a few comments that are coming in on social media. So the hashtag again is Afripreneur if you're watching online, if you're watching on Strive's Facebook page, or if you're watching on KFS Ghana. So African Region Hotel, looks like the whole hotel is tuned in, and they said, listening to Strive Masiyiwa, very insightful. They're enjoying your advice. Richard Salome says, you've got to stoop to conquer. Strive Masiyiwa, Afripreneur. You grow by putting the money in the business, not buying cars and houses. Strive Masiyiwa, they're quoting the advice that you're dishing out. Zanzi Brian says, what do you have in your hand? Use it. It's enough to start up. So we're learning. We're picking up tidbits from you. Be an expert in your field. Don't take chances. Always watch your numbers and recruit specialists. Lots of tweeting going on and quotes. Here's a question. How do African young people attract funding and investments for their business after having started? That's from the African Revolut Academy. They want to know, how do you attract investments and funding after your business has started?
The first, sit down for a moment, because I hate to see you standing for so long, but I will answer your questions. As long as you are here, I'll answer them. I'm only in Ghana for you today. I came for you today. I didn't come I didn't come for the Kwese guys. They're just trying to take advantage, okay? I was in Togo. We have no business in Togo. I was in Ivory Coast yesterday. I did this. We have no business there. I came for you guys, okay? So, of course, every country has its own laws and own rules and so forth. So I can only be general from my own experience. First thing you need to understand about money, capital for your business. Listen to this and listen to it carefully. The key to getting money for your business is to appreciate it as a skill that you will need for the whole of your life. Okay? It's a skill. Become conscious of the skill of raising money. It's the most important skill amongst many skills an entrepreneur will need to have, is how do you raise money? It's a right question, but it's a skill. Okay? And starts with reading up. Your understanding of banks cannot be like the man in the street's understanding of banks. Your understanding of capital cannot be like that of a man in the street. You say, you want to start a business, go to the bank. That's elementary. There is more to raising money than going to the bank. In fact, should be your last place. Don't rush there. When you go there, you must know exactly why you're going to the bank, because there are different kinds of capital. Okay? Mm-hmm. If I gave you an example, when I started, if I got a contract to build something, I needed equipment, I needed labor, I needed materials. Okay? I could have gone to the bank. I could have also gone to suppliers. I learned to negotiate, for instance, with suppliers. Just the ability to manage credit, to negotiate terms on credit, that is capital. Isn't it? Oh yes. If you can get someone to trust you that you will pay them back, you already got capital. Okay? And it includes investors. How do you bring an investor into the business and not lose control of it? Because that's what young entrepreneurs are worried about. Okay, if I sell you shares, will you take control? Okay, so how much are you going to give to the investor? Who is the investor? What do they want? What's their agenda? What's your agenda? How do the two of you work together? Okay, so there are many aspects that come into the raising of capital until by the time we are done, you must be able to understand what is venture capital? When do I go to an impact investor or a venture capitalist or private equity, whatever it is? These are different things that we are using all the time. I've just been to the bond markets to raise money in Europe. We raised $700 million. It took us about 6 weeks or so from beginning to end. And I never even attended a meeting. They just told me they'd done it. Okay, those are smart guys. Those liquid people, that's one of our companies. Oh, Mr. Chairman, please sign. I say, do I lose my house if you... I'm only joking. So there are different types of money. And get reading up on it. Even if you don't need it today. Leave here knowing I must know about money than the guy in the street, because I'm an entrepreneur.
All right. Let's take 3 questions. We'll note them down. We'll get answers to those, and then we'll keep going on.
Good afternoon. My name is Nanajan Kweku. I run an agribusiness firm called Aruka Vitals.
We can't hear you.
My name is Nanajan Kweku. I run an agribusiness firm called Aruka Vitals. It's a startup. My question is, what should be the morality principle we should keep in our quest to build global brands? As Mahatma Gandhi said, that business without morality is...
Can you say that one more time, a bit clearer?
What should be the morality principle we should keep in our quest to build global brands as young entrepreneurs?
What should be the...
Morality. I think he's talking about morality in business. Yes.
Principle. Hello.
I think morals. He wants
Morals.
to know about the morals, right?
Yes.
Okay.
He's talking about your morality and business.
Sure.
Okay. The next question.
My name is Abdul Muiz Abbas. I'm a business developer. I want to ask, at what point can I call myself an entrepreneur? And at what point can I call myself an Afripreneur? Thank you.
And the last one.
I'll leave the Afripreneur for you. You can be an entrepreneur even if you work for somebody else. Okay? Where's Ben? Ben, are you here? Stand up, Ben. This guy used to run his own business. Okay? We wanted to set up a sports channel that would broadcast in every single African country. Just one, which we call Kwese Free Sport. Do you know that it is the biggest television channel on this continent? These guys hit 100 million viewers for some of their events. Okay. Ben is from Nigeria. He's a professional guy. But he wasn't looking for a job. He had his own business. We pursued Ben like it was nothing. Okay? I spoke Joe Hunda. I said, Joe, go hire an entrepreneur to do this. So you don't have to own your own business to be an entrepreneur. You can be a civil servant and an entrepreneur. It's a way of thinking, okay, that we want to have. People who want to bring about change, find solutions, grow businesses. Thanks, Ben. So what you can, when you're thinking about entrepreneurship, you can call yourself an entrepreneur, a social entrepreneur. Are people who are building social enterprises. Ushahidi, those guys, have built in Kenya. They have built, have you ever met Juliani Rotich, the young lady who started Ushahidi? I met some Japanese people who said, have you heard of Ushahidi? She's global. It's an enterprise. It doesn't do it for money. But she built that platform with her partners and friends in Kenya. M-Pesa, all these things, they're entrepreneurship. So when you are successful, you will measure it by the number of entrepreneurs within that organization. Because if it weren't true, Steve Jobs is dead. So how come Apple is launching new phones all the time? Who's behind that? It's the entrepreneurs inside Apple. Okay? So when you are an entrepreneur, you've got your friend who's also an entrepreneur, say, hey, guy, let's come together. Okay? So you can start calling there's no one in this room who isn't an entrepreneur, even if you're at college, okay? And as for Afri-entrepreneur, well, that's your title for Africa. Love it.
So let's take the response on the question about morality, and I'll piggyback by asking.
I'll leave that to the end.
Till the end. Okay, all right. We'll deal with that then. Let's take our next question.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Samuel Badu, and I'm the co-founder of a firm called Swift Law. My question is this. It's in two parts. It's very short. Did you set up to be a serial entrepreneur, owning as many businesses as you do now? And secondly, what informs your decision to go into another business? Is it strictly the bottom line? Thank you very much.
Thanks. That's the first time anybody ever called me a serial entrepreneur. I like that. But seriously speaking, I don't go out to be a serial entrepreneur as such. I have one organization, Econet, okay, which has evolved over 3 decades, okay? When the mobile industry started, okay, I had been in business maybe 5 years, but I originally trained as a telecommunications engineer. But at the time that I was working as a telecommunications engineer, all telephone service was provided by governments. I saw the mobile industry emerging, and I thought, now there's a chance here for me. But I saw it, I was tracking it because I read a lot. So I was saying to myself, okay, if this thing happens, this is going to be global. It's going to come to Africa. I saw companies like Vodafone beginning to emerge in Europe and so forth. So when this comes to Africa, how do I position myself? Okay? You should be saying the same today. Electric cars, they are coming. There will be no petrol car in 25 years. Okay? Britain, for example, has just said by 2040 they will not allow a petrol or diesel engine vehicle, what we engineers call the combustion engine. Okay? By 2040. So the cars on the street will be electric. Tesla is coming. All the big manufacturers are making electric cars. So I want to ask you a question. How will you position yourself when it comes? I went to Tesla. I actually took a journey to Tesla. Drove around in a Tesla. Scary car. Doesn't make noise. The only thing you hear is the rubber on the road. It's totally quiet. Come back, I said to my team, so what does this mean for us when electric cars come? There's so much going on around you that you should be saying that every single day. What does this mean for my business? Initially, I thought when the mobile industry came, that I would just be building towers. Because remember, I was a contractor. So should I build towers? Maybe I should sell phones. So I started calling companies that were manufacturing phones, saying, can I be your representative in Africa? Bosch, Siemens, everybody, in their files, there are letters from me, let me tell you, I wrote to them. Then I said, hey, maybe I should get a license. I even came to Ghana looking for licenses at that time. I remember the first mobile operator in this country. I talked to him. Maybe you want a partner? He says, I don't need you. He's now Tigo. Okay? So I'm trying to also teach you some principles. You're constantly saying to yourself, what does this mean? This is a new development. How does it impact my business that I'm in? How can I use it? Doesn't mean you're jumping off to do something else. Okay? So as I developed, I moved into mobile. Even as mobile has developed, television, we're doing TV, right? To me, I'm still in the mobile game. All that has happened is I've noticed that our customers are using more data. And the phones became more sophisticated so that they could be TVs. Notice we called it Kwese everywhere. I'm not interested so much in the big screen in your living room. I'm interested in the small screen in your pocket. Because that is the TV of the future. So I'm already in that game. All I needed was to just go and buy the sports rights and the rights of programming and so forth. Do you see what I'm doing? So I see these things emerge from an evolution. And then sometimes as that evolution happens, for greater efficiency, I say to my people, let's separate this and make it a separate company. But it all revolves around what we do in our day job of running a communications business. I hope that's helpful for you understanding how I approach it.
There's another question here. Thank you. Another question here on social media. Again, the hashtag is Afripreneur if you're watching us either on Strive's Facebook page or on KFS. And here's Gabriel Aneba. He says, please, doctor, what might a pastor do for business? From your wealth of experience, your suggestion will help. This is from Nigeria. He wants to know what business suggestion you have for a pastor. Or is that already a business?
No.
No.
You know, tell him to come to my show tomorrow in Nigeria. Maybe we can talk about it on the side. It impacts something much deeper than that. So I would rather not deal with it today.
I see.
Okay. So let's pick up a few more.
Okay, let's have a few more questions. But is there anyone else here who's interested in an answer to that question?
I'm sure you are.
There's some hands up, though. Some people want to know what you would suggest.
I am sure.
Go ahead.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. You have a nice jacket. My name is Akoli Daku. I want you to briefly share with us the role of instinct in doing business. Kindly share your personal experiences with us. The role of relying on your instinct in doing business.
The role of
relying on your instinct in doing business.
Relying on
his instinct in doing business, where if he had cases where he had to walk out of a deal because he felt it wasn't a good business.
Instinct in running your business, relying on your instincts. Knowing when to listen to your inner voice. Okay.
Hi, my name is Nanajaman Prempe, and I simply want to ask, how can a startup or a company here take advantage of your global presence in Africa to expand their companies? For example, how can my startup, tech startup, expand operations in wherever Econet is present or Kwese is present?
Okay, say that one more time. Just want to get the points.
How can I scale my business taking advantage of your global presence?
Expanding your business to take advantage, global presence. Okay, let's take one more and then we'll get responses.
Yeah. My name is Nido Duwalenti, and I do business for Jesus. My name is Nido Duwalenti, and I do business for Jesus.
I didn't get him.
There's something I want to know. Usually when you go to a meeting like this, the entrepreneurs, they do tell you about things you do physically. Now I wanted to know if there is any spirituality connected to entrepreneurship. Because normally you will not get them when you come to a meeting like this. And if there is, on a scale 1 to 10, where would you put spirituality?
Okay, so you want to know what entrepreneurs do spiritually to run their businesses.
No, but when you go to meetings like this, they tell you the physical side, what you must do.
But you want to know the spiritual aspect.
If it is involved, on a scale 1 to 10,
how important
where would you
is it?
place it? Yeah.
Okay. Did you want to tie that in with the morality thing at the end, or would you like to deal with that now?
I'm not sure I heard his question.
I suppose you want to know what role spirituality plays in, how much importance entrepreneurs place on spirituality in running their businesses on a scale of 1 to 10.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. So relying on your instincts in running your companies, expanding your businesses, and taking advantage of the frontiers that are being traversed by companies like Tesla, and then spirituality and the role it plays on a scale of 1 to 10 in how you run your businesses.
Look, you know, on a platform like this, we have people listening in and participating from all over the world, in different religions and in different views. Okay, and I have to be respectful of that. Okay, we are talking about the principles of entrepreneurship. These are applicable whether you're in India or Japan or wherever. Okay, I'm always happy to sit and discuss with you my own personal spiritual journey in a different setting. Okay, but what we need to do today is just bear that in mind, and I hope you will respect me for taking that position. Okay, for a platform such as this, we really want to talk about the entrepreneurial aspects of what you do, whether you are in Japan or India, wherever. Let's come back to the values, okay? A business, making money and being in business are not necessarily the same thing. We're all old enough to know that there are a lot of rich people who have gained that wealth by ways which are harmful to society, harmful to the environment, harmful to the governments and the countries in which we all live. Okay? I hope when I come before you, I'm talking to a different group of entrepreneurs. I'm talking to the entrepreneurs who are the vast majority of entrepreneurs on this continent, who wake up every day to make a living, and they want to do it as honestly as they can. They're trying to raise their families and their children. They don't want to pay bribes. They don't want corruption. And believe you me, we are the majority. It sometimes may not feel that way when you see somebody flash by in a big fancy car that you knew was the head of customs or something. Okay? So what I'm also trying to say to you is that it is possible. We can be successful without having to do it that way. It's possible. But it will require a lot of effort and sacrifice on our part. We've got to a place where people are so cynical about people in business because they see it as just all corruption. Okay? And yet our societies need us to build businesses and enterprises. There are young people walking from Accra and cities across Africa to cross the Sahara Desert. Others are dying in the desert. Others are dying in the Mediterranean to go to Europe. I believe that that's not necessary because there are entrepreneurs like you who can build businesses and create jobs and give them hope. And this is my way of contributing to that. So the values are simple. Does it harm anybody? Does it harm the society? Does it harm the environment? Then don't do it. It's not a spiritual thing. It's just for the benefit of all. Every enterprise is a national enterprise. If you go to Atlanta, the founders of Coca-Cola are long dead. Nobody remembers their name. But the people of Atlanta will tell you, our company, Coca-Cola. That's what your business should become to the nation of Ghana. The people out there must feel that your business is a national enterprise being built for the benefit of this nation. Okay.
My name is Stephen Jisikwa from Global Entrepreneurship Network, Ghana. First of all, I want to applaud you for the good work you're doing. In the last 10 years, I've been working with most of the leading entrepreneurship organizations across the world, and I've seen a wave of young people or young entrepreneurs coming within the continent who start businesses. And most of the time, either they're getting a lot of the capital coming from the West into the continent, or through the capital, they move out from the continent to go to the West, especially, let me be specific, with Silicon Valley. How do you think that both yourself and other entrepreneurial leaders within the continent can work together to ensure that we can bring a change in that space, whereby we can support entrepreneurs here, or be able to sort of see how best we can tap into what is happening within the continent to let them build those world-class business, that they don't just move down to Silicon Valley all the time?
Okay. I'll have another one. I will answer you, but I'll take another one.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Great, and I'm a student of the University of...
I can't hear you. Speak up.
My name is Great. I'm a student of the University of Ghana, and I'm an entrepreneur as well. We have a company called damzinan.com, and we seek to change the way students learn in our various schools. And I have a quick question for you, please. And it's about the way you hire, train, and evaluate your employees. You made a statement that you become successful when you have entrepreneurs in your business. So how do you hire, train, and evaluate your employees to ensure the success of the business? Thank you.
Okay.
Can I quickly make this a quick announcement? We've just been informed that His Excellency the President has a program here. So please, if your car is parked, or if you hear this registration number, please move it immediately. GS 384317, GR 214309, GR 807717, GS 2010, GN 576113. Please move your car immediately if you've just heard. Let me just repeat that again. It's very urgent. This is coming from National Security. So move your vehicle. Thank you. GS 384317, GR 214309, GR 8077, GS 20810, and GN 6113. Please. It's an emergency. Thank you very much, Kokwi. Go ahead.
Thank you, Yao. Thank you. I can see people rushing to sort that out. All right. Okay, so let's take the questions that have already been asked. There were some still pending from before, taking advantage of new opportunities that are coming into light, like the ones you mentioned about Tesla and electric cars, and African entrepreneurs investing in other African entrepreneurs. So people like Strive and other highly successful African entrepreneurs putting that capital back into up-and-coming entrepreneurs in the continent, as opposed to them going out to seek funding. And then training and hiring of your employees. How do you hire? What was the criteria? And what do you do to train them to be entrepreneurs in your business as well and to help you fulfill your vision?
I know some of you need to get back to work, so we need to begin to come to close. My approach is very simple, which is just to share with you experiences. Because what you do sometimes is very lonely. I'll give you an example. There's a Ghana Stock Exchange, right? Have any of you thought of using it? Who's been thinking, I'm going to use the Ghana Stock Exchange to raise money? Put up your hand. I want to use the Ghana Stock Exchange to raise money. You've got to. That's why it's there. It's one of the mechanisms by which you raise money. I went to the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, and I'd been studying them for a while. I said, I want to raise money. They said, but you've only just started. I said, I want to raise money. Your rules don't say that. It actually ended up almost like a court case. My lawyers had to write to them to let me raise money using the stock exchange. But I had done a lot of work to study. But it happened, I had been in business by then, 10 years. And I went to the stock exchange and I listed my company on the stock exchange. It didn't have 3 years experience. It had 3 months. I listed Econet Wireless Zimbabwe. Just started it. 3 months later, I listed it on the stock exchange. 12 months later, they called it the dog of the exchange because the share price never went up. It stayed below the listing price. We all know what happened, don't you? One day people woke up and said, what is going on? Shh. $1 billion company. Okay? These are the things you should be discussing in your coffee bars. How do I use that exchange? When will I be ready? You may not be ready to do it today, but the day you need, because it's there as a tool for capital raising. It's not some club. You can use it. And there are lots and lots of things like that. Sometimes you read in newspapers. I once went to see the World Bank office. Now, how many of you know you can go to the World Bank office? I made an appointment. I had a business the size of, Walked in, I said, I've read about a program that you have for small businesses. Oh, they said, oh yes. They gave me a brochure. I wrote to these guys that you all know now as the IFC. And they had a small window. And records will show you, if they check their records, I was the first African entrepreneur to tap into that window. I got $240,000. There are lots and lots of things out there that you will be surprised exist, even here in Ghana. So when you read, remember the thing I did on Facebook, I said, read the newspaper with a pen. I read. highlight. Check. Oh, okay, let me find out. Now you are in a better position than I was 20 years or 30 years ago. You have the internet, and you have a phone in your hand. I don't think there's a single person in this room who doesn't have a smartphone. What are you going to use it for? This is the stuff you need to be checking up. I read about a transaction that's been done in Russia or South Africa, and I read about it and I say, what's the structure? How do they do that? The next, my office knows that I sometimes start saying, well, let's use that AfriSam structure or that PPC structure or that Anglo-American. I'm referring to something I read where I spent time studying how they did it. So when you hear a business, somebody's raised money, done something, try and get underneath it. How did they do it? We're sitting here, great coffee production country, right? Cocoa. But Starbucks, billion-dollar business on the back of a brand. Where's Ghana's Starbucks? I want to drink Ghana coffee in Johannesburg, South Africa. Who's going to take up my challenge? Come forward. Come forward. If you do it, I'll put money. Someone said, where's my microphone?
Thank you so much for the opportunity, sir. So my name is Yvonne Agri. I'm CEO of Framework Cravings Company. It's a donut and coffee company, actually, and it's actually coffee and cocoa, since Ghanaians are not so much of a coffee people. So my brand produces donuts, and it's supposed to go with coffee for corporate people all across the country. Thank you so much, sir.
You see that lady there, Nanda Scott. Nanda, she gets to come to our offices to come and make a pitch. Okay? And we will discuss her business, and I'll get a couple of Econet people, and we'll figure out how to help you. Okay. Thank you, Sinanda. You know what? We produce gold, we produce coffee, we produce cocoa. We got to be number one in chocolates. I don't want to hear any more of this stuff that we are number one in cocoa. I want to hear we're number one in chocolate. Because Nestle is the biggest company in Europe. Did you know that? By market capitalization. They're the biggest company in Europe buying our cocoa. Now, I got nothing wrong with Nestle. I love them. Great company. Okay? But others buy your palm oil. They produce products. We have to produce products from this stuff. It's our generation who must change that. It's not about oil anymore. What can you do with oil? What will you do when the oil is no longer needed in cars? We can no longer measure our wealth anymore in what comes out of the ground. We have to measure our wealth with what comes out of here. Okay? That's why we've got to skill up. It's skills, skills, skills. We've got to push for skills. The skills that enable us to turn our cocoa into products, into developing brands. Starbucks, $20 billion company. Surely we can do that. Instagram. We can do that. Why not? Who says we can? Let me see your hand. That's why we are here. Of course we can. We can build businesses on the internet. Every one of you who's an entrepreneur must have a website. At the very least, we must set up websites. What does it take? Sure, but I'm not selling anything with my website. It doesn't matter. Let's do it. Because these are the tools that will build you the Alibabas, the Tencents, the Yahoos, and the Googles of this world. That world is totally and completely democratized. We can use that. Look at the opportunity in education. Have you thought about the opportunity in education? Yeah. We're going to tackle it with e-commerce. Because with e-commerce, you can educate a child from here to South Africa to Togo. You guys can scale today in overnight. You can run a global business. Overnight. Okay? That's what I want you to leave here with. Don't think, banks won't give me money, banks won't give me money. Sure. Do we want to fix our banks? Do we want to get all that sorted out? Yes, we can. We do. But you grow very old before you solve that problem. Okay? There's a lot you can do between now and then. And some of you will be billionaires between now and then. God bless you. I'm done. Hey, I love this. I love this. Can I have the mic?
Yeah.
Can I borrow the mic? Where's the young man who did this?
I can't believe you're done. Yes, our artist, let's welcome him back on stage.
Bring him back.
The painting. I can't believe you're done.
I'm pretty much done.
And you have to leave us.
So I can come back.
So you can come back, and we hope that you do come back soon. But thank you so much, Strive, for spending time with us this afternoon. Thank you to all of you who joined
Where's
us
my
here.
artist? Is he still here?
Yes. We're hunting him down. He'll be on stage.
You know this picture? I was walking in London, and a guy from the Financial Times saw me. As that's why I was like this with the coat and the hat. And now I look like Che Guevara. He took a picture of me in the street of London. And, dear Lord, what a depiction. Thank you so much. Where is he? Anyway, you see, he's an entrepreneur. It's an extraordinary gift. He did this upside down. What a gift. But how does he scale? How does he scale to be a great artist in the world? Why not? Where is he? Anyway. Okay? Maybe you'll have to team up with some of you. He becomes COO, you become CEO. Okay, selling his business, putting him on the internet. Some of you are marketing experts that will give him the expertise. That's all it is. Where is he?
Hello, sir. The young man has left. He's gone to work. But a friend has called him, so he's driving back.
Okay, tell him to come to my hotel.
I'll do that.
Okay, bless him. But I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. You know, honestly, Ghana, listen to me. You launched a revolution on this continent 60 years ago. You have to launch the next revolution. Okay? Listen to me. Not everybody is going to be an entrepreneur. I don't believe it's genetic, but I certainly believe it's a small group. It is the same whether you're in America, whether you are in India or China. But what we do know is this: if we get you moving, you can create the jobs. We have a continent where the average age is 19. It's 19. 70% of the population are under the age of 30. This could be the asset that turns us into the global power of this century. By the turn of this century, we'll be almost half the world's population. Did you know that? There'll be 4.5 billion Africans. There'll be 1 billion Nigerians. So better get used to those guys. That's why I'm going there tomorrow. 1 in 4 Africans is a Nigerian. So we love Nigeria. Okay? I believe this is our century. Okay? But if we don't move now, it'll be a disaster. And I believe that the answer is right here. The entrepreneurs that can go out to create jobs in industries, not just small businesses, they're important. But the guys that I'm appealing to have the capacity to build big businesses, national businesses, continental businesses, global businesses. And it's you. That's why I'm taking all this time. It's you. You have to work together like your grandfathers never imagined possible. It's in your hands. Today you can get on the internet and recruit friends from Zimbabwe to South Africa to Kenya to Ethiopia to work with you. That was not possible when I started. You can do it. Will it be easy? Hell no. Be tough. But you can do it. Now go do it. Go change. Go create the jobs. You have to create the jobs. We have to create the jobs. Because it's the dignity comes from the job. Even our independence, the platform is creating jobs for people. So go do it. God bless you. And we'll talk again.
Strive Masiyiwa, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep the applause coming.
A big round of applause.
Thank you.
But Strive, you said you would address morality at the end.
Did I?
You did.
But I did.
You did.
Goodness me. It's values. You know, they say a business is a person. The law says so. It's called a persona. It has legal persona. So if it is a legal person, from where does it get its personality? You know, we talk of companies, we say of certain companies, they are crooks, or they're like this, or they're like this. It comes from the entrepreneur. The business catches your personality. That's where it comes from. Therefore, it catches your values. Okay? If you are fair, you build a fair company. If you're immoral, you build an immoral company. It can be a $1 billion company, but you'll be unfair. Okay? So your values, the way you want to be treated by others, that golden rule for the man who believes, who was talking spirituality, maybe for you. The lawyer said, Lord, what is the greatest law of them all? He said, thou shalt love thy Lord, thy God with all thy heart, with all thy strength. And then he said, and the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we have a big round of applause? Let's be on our feet for him.
Are we ready?
Can we have Miss Ifwa Kisinyame come in to give us a final vote? Let's give him a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. We're very pleased to have had your presence here, and we are very glad that you came to experience Kwese and better more, Mr. Strive Masiyuwa. We know we've picked a lot of cues, how to grow your business and also how to become very successful. We have a surprise for you. So kindly look under your seats and check if there's something there for you. If you see anything interesting, please wave and come forward. Meeting room 1. Meeting room 1. Do we see anything interesting under your seats? Please come forward. Is
that you?
Can we clap for them, please? Come forward. Please come. Come.
How many are there?
I think you should keep looking. There should be more. There should be more people.
Yes, and look, you've been rewarded.
Okay. All right. So, any more? I know there are more, unless you are shy to come up. Okay. So these 3 men have won themselves Kwese boxes, and they'll have it installed immediately for them. Yes. Yeah, that's about it.
But before you go, what is the package? For those who may not know, what do you get on the Kwese decoder?
You get over 60 channels of premium exclusive content, over 60 channels of that. And then we give you a 1-month free subscription. It's a family package, so you enjoy it with your family.
So do you get CNN?
Get CNN, BBC, you get DreamWorks, you get everything. You get Kwese Inc.
Thank you very much, Ifwa. Thank you very much, Kokwi. Find out how they're feeling.
Yeah, how are you feeling about winning your... In fact, I need to talk to this gentleman in the fedora here. Yes, because let me tell you a story. When I got here this morning, as we were waiting to start, this lovely gentleman here approached me and said, Kokwi, I watched you last night on KFS and you said 10 a.m. And I said, yes, sir. I said, the doors will open at 10 a.m. And he said, are you sure that's what you said? I said, yes, that's what I said. I've been here since 10 a.m. and you haven't started. I said, sir, don't worry. We will start and you will enjoy yourself. And look at what he's holding in his hand. He is one of Kwese TV decoder. Your patience has paid off, sir. Thank you so much.
Do I have anything to say? Anyway, thank you very much for everything. And I hope when I send this thing home, my family will be happy with it. Thank you.
Very nice. Very nice. Would you like to say anything? Yeah. You would. Okay, go ahead. Okay.
I'm Prince Ajay, one of the directors of a paperback firm, and I believe this is a privilege, so we can establish a partnership together.
Why not? It's a nice pitch.
I know, right? Thank you. Thank you for doing your elevator pitch right here. Well done. Thank you again for coming, and congratulations, and enjoy your Kwese decoders. Thank you. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you so much for your patience, for your time, for coming out this afternoon to listen to the great Strive Masiyiwa. Thank you for supporting Kwese, and we hope you'll all go ahead and sign up for your Kwese decoders and keep watching KFS. We've got so much more in store, and we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic day. Well done. Well done, well done.